Call this village board meeting to order. This is number 3081. It's September 8th, 2014. Clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy.
Present.
Kim. Here. Meyer. Here. Semple. Here. Sullivan. Here. Voss. Here.
Very good. Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Just a second here. All right. Okay, let's get started. Then I just wanted to welcome Deputy Chief John Monahan, sitting in for Chief Gunther. Welcome tonight. And that takes us to, now, on the approval of minutes, it's not clicking here, so.
There are none.
Do we have any?
No, there are no minutes. They'll be on the board's agenda on the 22nd.
Perfect. Okay. That takes us to the time in the evening when we have public commentary. Would anyone in the audience wish to address the board at this time? Very good. Okay.
My name is Chuck Bartels. I live in Grand Dominion.
Could I have your address, please?
I'm sorry, yes, 3841 Melody Street.
Thank you.
I was at the open house the other day, and it was a terrific event. But I want to tell you about several conversations. The first was a conversation with people who were talked about the finish in this building and how no money was wasted and how the money was put into the public spaces and not the administrative spaces. I'm not sure if you heard that, but there were several of us who talked about it in groups. I just thought you should know that people noticed wise use of the taxpayers' dollars. The thing that really stood out for me, I got into a conversation, Chief, with one of your firemen named Mark. I'm sorry I don't know his last name. I was looking at the rig as they were closing it up, and out of curiosity, I said, how much does something like this cost? They said $500,000. Well, I almost fell over when he said that number. And then he told me that you bought it as basically a demo, and that the real price on it is $1.1 million.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much blown away by that number. And again, I think the citizenry should just have some understanding of how wise you're being in spending our money. And I'm not sure that that type of thing comes out often enough. So I had a chance, and it was very enjoyable talking to Mark, and I think you should please say thank you to him for being so informative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Good evening, Joe Schwan, 28630 Champions Court. My question, Mr. Mayor, is in regards again to the property on 617683. I've heard rumors to the effect that a large box retail store will be locating in that area, which is fine. And then I just wondered, are they going to post the property for a hearing? I was told two different things. I was told that you do not have to do that anymore, and I was told you have to do it. So is it going to be posted when there's a hearing in regards to the property?
One moment.
Well, the reason we're hesitating is I think we want to be respectful of the contract purchaser and the property owner. So that's why we're hesitating. We don't want to inadvertently say something publicly that maybe we shouldn't. But I would say in reverse order that if there is a change in the zoning or something that would require a public hearing, those rules have not changed. The property would be, there would be a notice put on the property, there would be notice in the paper, just as we always have done. That doesn't change. With regards to a large box user, that we understand that those discussions have slowed down. and that they're not moving forward at this time. So it's kind of in a state of limbo.
Well, to follow up on your comments, the property zoning isn't going to be changed. It's been zoned retail.
Correct.
I imagine there won't be any posting then, in a roundabout way. You're answering my question. Because that has already been posted as the zoning there, because when Walmart was there, it was rezoned for the Walmart store. So that has not changed.
There are a number of reasons why you'd be required to post that. One of those would be to change the zoning. Second reason would be if the use that was being considered there was going to be a special use that would require a posting. There would be potentially variances granted to the zoning. There's a wide array of things as to why there might be a public notice given for that. But you are correct. If a petitioner came in and developed that property in a manner that is consistent with our zoning regulations today and requested no variations, there would be no posting of that. Correct. Correct.
Okay. Would there be a notification to the property owners adjacent to the property?
Well, I can tell you that in conversations with this petitioner that has now slowed things down, this entity made it very clear that it was his desire to speak with the neighbors on his proposed project.
Okay, that's fine. I think that would be important, that everybody's happy and we work our way through it. My last question, fall is here. Where is 176-8360 construction? I don't see any markings, I don't see any movement. Now we're coming into winter. We asked the question in the spring, it was going to be fall, now we're in fall. What's happening?
You know, I'll let Mr. Brochet field that call.
We are in discussions about land acquisition with one remaining property owner. So we are still working to negotiate the acquisition of about a 109 square foot piece of property.
Well, good luck. So are we in the...
It would appear we're in the spring.
We are at a point whenever we are able to get that land procured, then we would be able to move forward with the project. So
I'd love to see that left turn lane be put in on 176 there. That would be great. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Barb Glover. Do you need my address?
I do.
Okay. It's 228 Southfield Drive, Vernon Hills, 60061. That is Grosse Pointe Village. Okay, so the reason I'm here was on the recommendation of one of the police officers from Mundelein. I believe his name was Officer Lane, but I'm sorry, I don't recall it. I had called, this is about the noise and the pollution of this Northwest Motors company. It's located on Route 83, 25561-59, Route 83. It is Mundelein, and it is a used car lot and also a car wash combination. We've lived there, some of my neighbors are here. We've lived there for over 25 years. And now he is starting the semi-truck parking lot there where he continuously runs semi-trucks, and it's really a nuisance to the way we back up on Grosse Pointe. There's about 10 houses on Southfield Drive. There's permanent open space behind all of our yards, which is covered in grass. And then behind that is a little creek, and there's also on Hilger's Court, one small house, which is also Mr. Best leases this to a family who drives ATVs in the permanent open space. They run their loud music constantly, and he also creates a lot of noise, and he parks cars illegally because they, as you know, they put in this new water station right behind our houses. It's on Hilger's Court. It's a brand new water station. It's been there a couple of years. And we also put up with the noise that they did to rip down all of our trees and put in this water station, which is fine because apparently we needed a new water station. So anyway, I've been in contact with the community officer, Clark, from the Mundelein Police Department for several years about this constant noise and the trucks and the hammering. So over time, he has resolved our issues, but it tends to get really, really worse in the winter, and now the winter is coming. So the last 2 weeks I called because Mr. Best had somebody grading the truck lot to make more space for more semis to park there. So after 2 days of the constant noise and the dust and the grading, I had called again to make him stop. So the nice police officers came out and they told him to stop, and he said, oh, well, I was just stopping anyway. So back in April 7th of 2014, I went to the village of Mundelein and met with Kathy Mueller. She is the code enforcement building inspector for the village of Mundelein, and I asked her to please provide me a copy of the code that the Northwest Motors in the zoning of what he is allowed to do. How many trucks he can park there? Can he run the trucks constantly? Can he bang the trucks constantly? Can he cause all this pollution into our 10 houses where we've lived there peacefully for 25 years? She never sent it to me, and so I waited, and my next step was to come to this village hall, which the police officers in Mundelein recommended. So that's where I'm at with that. I would just like to know what's going on with the Northwest Motors and what to do if this still continues.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe what you can do is I can give you my business card, and we can set up a meeting sometime this week or early next week with you and your neighbors.
Okay.
And you can give us a little bit more specific information about what's going on there.
Okay, that would be great. Thank
Okay? You want to come up here? I can give you a card.
Okay. Anyone else this evening? No? Okay. All right, we'll close the floor. And that takes us to presentations and awards. The first item is National Preparedness Month. National Preparedness Month. This is a mayoral declaration that in Mundelein, September is National Preparedness Month. And this is in keeping with an effort by the U.S. government to use September as just a way to alert folks to the idea of being prepared for being on your own for 3 straight days, I think is the effort there. And so the theme this month is Be Disaster Aware, Take Action to Prepare. And so when you read the narrative about what we're trying to do, and that is get people to think about, and obviously it's in September because of 9/11, and so since then it's been in September, but to just think along those lines a little bit, and just look around your house and say, what would happen if power went out and you're on your own and no water, no power, what could you handle 3 straight days? And so to maybe begin accumulating the items and preparing. And so that's the meaning of that National Preparedness Month 2014. Next, we have a Distinguished Service Award from the Economic Development Commission. Rob Pippin served 7 years on the EDC, and we have a nice little plaque. And I would just say I went to, over the last year and a half, I've been to, I would say, something over half the meetings. And I have to say, Mr. Pippin, he is a very wise individual. Many times we would have discussions of things that we were going to do, and his comments were always seemed to me just to be spot on from a perspective of great experience. And we really appreciate your service to Mundelein on the EDC, Rob. So why don't you come on up and get your award.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. There we go.
The only comment I would make is, my wife said, today, I said, I have to go to a meeting tonight because I'm getting an award. She said, how long were you on the commission for? I said, I don't know. I didn't keep track because I had so much fun doing it. And just, you got a great group of people here, you got a great group with the Economic Development Commission, but the only reason I'm leaving is we moved, unfortunately, down the road to Longville, so when you don't live in the village, you obviously can't be on a commission. But, the thing I'd say to all of you, keep up the great work, because I think Mundelein is such a jewel. I've always thought that. So thank you guys for everything that you're doing and for getting a chance to be a part of this.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, I don't know. You get that if you want.
Do you want that?
That's
There you go. Yeah. All right, that takes us to a series of award presentations, and at this time I'm going to ask Larry Gallus, Chairman of the Economic Development Commission, to please come forward and give out our Gold Star Recognition Awards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and trustees. Tonight we have 4 presentations for the 2004 Gold Star Award presentations. These are all food-oriented this year, and as you can tell by how I look, I've participated in all of these venues on a fairly consistent basis. We're going to start out with the, just as a note, the Gold Star Award was created a number of years ago to recognize Mundelein businesses that make significant investments in their property or receive a major reward or contribute to our community in an exemplary manner by expanding their businesses or hiring more people. And I think tonight's award members are, represent this very, very well. I'd like to start out with ladies first. We're going to start out with Hits Pizza. Tina Dillon is the co-owner of Hits Pizza, and she has contributed lots and lots of time, lots and lots of food, and lots of space to a lot of charities.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gallus. Did a great job. I mean, and congratulations to all the recipients. We really, really appreciate you being in Mundelein and expanding and growing and succeeding like you have. Thank you very much, you know, from the bottom of our hearts. All right, this takes us to public hearings. There are none this evening. And then my report. We have an item here regarding Swalco. Now, our rep to Swalco is Trustee Voss, so I'm going to pass it over to Trustee Voss on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the 28th of August, the Swalco Board voted to have the Village of Volo also become approved for membership to Swalco, and they need each of the member communities to approve that. And in doing so, they realized there was an oversight. When Bannockburn was approved, they forgot to have us approve it. So tonight, we are going to do them both. So I'd like to make a motion to pass an ordinance consenting to the Village of Volo and the Village of Bannockburn as additional members of the Solid Waste Agency of Lake County, Swalco, with no late fee.
Second.
Motion by Voss, second by Abernathy. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Sullivan.
Perhaps someone, maybe Trustee Voss or Mr. Flynn could say, what is the investment that Swalco has? I thought they were just to supervise the waste process. There's a $5,000 contribution. What's that for? Does Swalco have assets?
Next one over. There we go.
There you go.
Yes, Swalco does have assets. They have a building and a facility for hazardous waste, and they have equipment, truck and forklift and things like that. And we do pay a membership every year based on our population,
So
as do all the members based on population.
there's a substantial capital investment that Swalco has?
Yeah, substantial. Well,
And is $5,000 a drop in the bucket?
that's the, well, I don't know if it's a drop in the bucket or not, but it is, that is a membership fee, annual membership fee.
Swalco has been in existence for many, many years. Does anybody remember, because I think it was before my time, what our contribution was, or has been, that is, on an annual basis,
Well,
on
we
an
still-
initial basis, what was the contribution?
I don't think there was any on an initial basis,
Okay.
because we joined when it was formed, and it's not the same type of organization as JAWA, where there is a
No.
large infrastructure investment. So there is a provision in the bylaws for penalty, but it's waived for new members that join, and each member does pay an annual membership. I forget what the dollar amount per resident is, but it's based on our population.
Okay, so these two communities will pay $5,000 plus their membership.
They'll pay their membership, their annual membership, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Voss?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes. Semple?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. And that takes us to, that finishes my report. I wanted to just, I guess we'd be remiss not to reminisce a little about, taking off on Mr. Bartels' comments from earlier, just reminiscing about Saturday's events and just the wonderful, the weather certainly cooperated, but we had our open house and ribbon cutting here at the new Village Hall. And I just want to thank the village staff who all participated in that day from the bottom of my heart. What a great job you guys did of planning it and pulling it off without a hitch. I think you guys just did a fabulous job. It was just a wonderful, wonderful day. Just thank you for your efforts. So I'll give you a round of applause for you guys.
Well, I'll be sure to pass that along to my staff, because my job was to show up, and they gave me my script and told me where to be, so I'll certainly pass that on to the staff.
Please do. That's it for my report. That takes us to trustee reports. Public Works Committee, Trustee Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything on the agenda, and there's nothing to report tonight, so mine's short.
One question. Could we have a report about storm damage on Friday in Public Works and tree removal and?
We suffered quite a bit of storm damage throughout the village. It was widespread, so it was village-wide. It wasn't isolated to any one zone or any particular area in town. So we are asking residents that if they do have any tree limbs or large debris, to bring that out to the curbside. They don't need to bundle it. They don't need to tie it up or cut it into 4-foot sections. Just get it to the curb, and we will take it away and chip it up for them. But they do need to contact us about that right now. So if they call Public Works, let us know their address, then they can have that picked up free of charge.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on. Finance Committee, Trustee Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This evening, we have one motion to consider, and that is a motion to approve the payment of bills noted on our bill list to AT&T, these bills totaling $10,165.91, and I will make a motion to approve those payments.
Second.
Motion by Sullivan, second by Abernathy. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Meyer?
Abstain.
Voss?
Yes.
Motion carries.
This evening, on our omnibus list of motions for approval is one to approve a bill list of various bills totaling $805,746.70. Some of the significant numbers, larger numbers, one of them is a bill for $85,153.25. This for the sewer plant improvement process. Could you remind me, Mr. Boucher, what that's for? For the
I.O. card replacement for the SCADA system.
SCADA system. Okay, thank you. Another one is for $213,090.01. This is for Lake Michigan Water, the Joint Action Water Agency. We have an amount to pay the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency for our loan for the sewer plant. This totaling $175,390.02. And we also are going to pay Mundelein. This is for a tax rebate agreement. If you'll recall, we've reached an agreement with them wherein they were going to bring sales tax back to the village, and we were going to share that with them as an incentive. This payment for this particular payment is $83,201.40. And that completes my report. Anyone have any questions or concerns? We'd be happy to think about them. Yes, ma'am.
That payment to Mundelein, that's a 4-month payment, so we're talking about that we get $20,000.
I thought we were splitting it in half.
So,
Yeah, there was an equal amount that we received, 83,000. The total
yeah,
was,
so we get $20,000 a month if it's for 4 months.
well, there
We
was,
got all of it for 3 months.
there was a little bit of a, I think there was a little bit of a mix-up, and I'll defer to Mr. Haywood, but the state shorted us a month, and so they're going to make that up later.
But we're not shorting Mundelein a month, but the state shorted us a month?
No. No, we gave them 50% of what we received.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Our estimates,
4 months, so,
our estimate is still between $250,000 and $300,000 a year. That's our estimate.
for our portion?
Correct.
So, okay.
You know, we don't know the cycle because we've never been through it before, but it ebbs and flows, I would imagine, like sales tax does with our other retailers.
Okay, so we're hoping this is an ebb. Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? Then that completes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to Public Safety Committee. Trustee Semple.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a couple items on the agenda this evening. I'd like to make a motion here, and then we'll have Deputy Chief Monahan comment. I'm going to make a motion to authorize the Chief of Police to sign the Memorandum of Understanding for the Illinois Internet Child Exploitation Task Force. Is that the motion I need to read?
Yes.
Second.
Motion by Semple, second by Voss. Discussion?
Chief, what are we doing here? And, you know, it's kind of a interesting thing we're doing, but I think it's very important, and glad to see we're on the cutting edge here, so.
Yes, it is. These investigations are very sensitive and complex. This will give us the ability to team with the Attorney General's office, and we would get out of this an additional training and additional resources to investigate these types of crimes.
Well, what was the impetus for this? Wasn't it we had a local offender that caught the attention of our agency as well as others?
We did. We approximately 2 weeks ago, Mundelein had a resident that was involved in a sting, as well as many other individuals within Lake County.
And this is going to better able our department, our agency, to be more proactive and act as more of a lead in some of these things too, right?
It will give us many more resources through the Attorney General's office and training specifically.
Sounds great to me.
Okay.
I have some.
Yes.
Thank
Trustee
you,
Kim.
From reading the packet, I just wanted to confirm a few things. The Attorney General, is it the officers there who will be doing all the online work and kind of, I guess, luring or, you know, whatever it is they're doing? Is it the Attorney General or is it our police force?
It's generally their investigators who initiate or start the investigation, depending on where that goes, which could be Mundelein in the future. Then they team up with our investigators and then who work hand in hand with the AG's office and their investigators to come to a conclusion.
Okay. And do they seek these people out by doing like one-on-one relationship building, or is it through like metadata and like search keywords?
They have numerous investigative techniques, but it's just not generally, they have certain leads that they follow to get to the point where they're at.
Okay. So it's not just like a general overall search. Okay. I have to make sure. Come on, I'm doing my due diligence. Oh, okay, all right. All right. All right, so 1, 2, and 3. That's all I had to ask. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Abernethy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
While we're on police, Deputy Chief, do you have anything else you want to bring up? Any events or anything that you guys have done you want to bring up?
I do, thank you. Chief Gunther wanted me to pass on a few notes. This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we'll be out at the Vernon Hills Law Enforcement Expo. That's Saturday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then Sunday 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, our Senior Police Academy will be starting on Monday, September 15th. That starts at 10 a.m. It's held at the Del Webb Community Center, and you do not need to be a member of the Del Webb community to attend. Also, we'll be having our Latino Police Academy starting on September 18th. That'll be held at the Mundelein Police Department. That starts at 7 p.m. For both those academies, you just need to contact the police department. We can get you signed up. And then lastly, we will be participating in the second annual Operation Stand Down with Mundelein High School. That's a countywide coat drive for veterans to assist the veteran homeless and veterans in need. That is all.
Thank you, Chief. Next, I'd like to turn to the fire department. And Chief, we have 3 motions here, correct? Everybody, we're still learning our new board software, and it's just a little different layout for all of us. So as we stumble through here for a couple meetings, please bear with us. So I'm going to make the first motion here. This is all regarding mutual aid and our work with other fire departments. So with that, I'd like to make a motion for authorization for the mayor and the village board to pass an ordinance for the addendum to the mutual aid box alarm system, MABUS, master agreement as requested by MABUS, Illinois, in accordance with FEMA and the Stafford Act. Is that the motion you need, Chief?
That's correct.
Okay, that's my motion.
Second.
Motion by Semple, second by Abernathy. Discussion?
Chief, what are we doing here?
Basically, this is an update from Illinois MABUS, which is the parental group that we work under with the mutual aid box alarm system. We've been members of that for, since back in the 80s. And through some of the national events that have occurred, there were regulatory pieces of the Stafford Act that weren't being met in as far as being able to recoup funds. So if the board recalls, we were responders to Hurricane Katrina. And as such, there were things that occurred back then that they've unraveled with the Stafford Act that they need to tune up some of these agreements so that we have cost recovery on the localized level. But this doesn't create, and you'll notice in the memorandum, it's like if we had a long-term event, if we had a long fire here, that is not going to be where each individual agency starts billing and having cost recovery between each other. The mutual aid box alarm system provides for day-to-day localized mutual aid. This would be on a larger scale that if Mundelein were involved in a national deployment, that we are meeting the requirements of the Stafford Act.
Any other discussion? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The second motion I'd like to make is regarding the same. I'd like to make a motion for authorization for the mayor to sign the first addendum to the mutual aid box alarm system, MABUS, master agreement.
Motion by Semple,
Second.
second by Meyer. Discussion?
Chief, again, what are we doing here?
It's the same, it's just there's 3 documents that Illinois MABUS required that we have updated for this process: the ordinance, the clerk's validation, and the addendum to the agreement.
So I don't have to ask you for your explanation on the next motion either, then,
No,
right?
sir.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
No, it's not on the printed agenda, but it is on the agenda that is online. So it happened at the last meeting, too. There were things that were, yes.
Okay, so this one, I'm sorry, was for the mayor to sign? That's the one I don't have.
Authorization for the mayor
Mayor.
to sign the first addendum to the mutual aid box alarm system, MABUS master agreement. It's recommendation number 2 of 3 underneath the fire report for public safety. Committee report 1112.
Okay,
Yeah, it's missing.
it's missing, yeah. Okay,
Okay, so it's-
Semple?
yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
And finally, my third motion for the same topic, I'd like to make a motion for authorization for the village clerk to sign the village clerk certification acknowledging the passage of the ordinance for the addendum to the mutual aid box alarm system MABUS master agreement.
Second.
Motion by Semple, second by Abernathy. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, Chief, while we're on fire, you have anything you'd like to mention, any upcoming events or anything you want to summarize that you've done recently?
Certainly. First of all, we have our fire department open house this Sunday from 10 until 2 at the 1000 North Midlothian location. So we encourage all of our residents to come out. It's usually very well attended. We're hoping for good weather. We didn't have that last year, and still had a lot of people that showed up. So we encourage everybody to come out for that. Thanks go to the community for the blood drive that we held on September 2nd. That was our Labor Day weekend drive. Locally, Life Source supplies pretty much the entire area with blood, and 2 weeks prior to that, because of people going back to college and summer vacations and things like that, their donations were down by probably close to 70%, so this was an important drive. We had 83 units collected, so that affects over 240 people, so thank you to the community for that. We have really become quite the model community when it comes to blood drives, and we want to increase that over the years. Also, I put out earlier today that there is on this Thursday, Culver's is sponsoring a countywide veterans program that if you go to Culver's between 11 and 1 and 5 and 8 in a variety of communities around here. Of course, Mundelein has a Culver's at Buffalo Grove, Island Lake, Lake Zurich. Can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but they will have veterans there that are part of the foundation, the Lake County Veterans Program. And so we encourage everybody to go out there. Culver's is going to make a donation from the Culver's Care Foundation in order to support our veterans, and that is, of course, in alignment with September 11th and recognizing them that day. And then last but not least, our Citizens Fire Academy did start last week on Wednesday, but we probably can still scoot people in if they're interested in it. We've got a great start, so it's a young program. It's our first year of doing it, but we're excited about it and encourage people to attend. That's on Wednesday nights and through the end of October. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. We're all set, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Simple. Next up, Community and Economic Development Committee, Trustee Voss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a few announcements. Wednesday is Park on Park, weather permitting, obviously. The last one was very well attended. Farmers Market is Friday. The last Farmers Market was pretty well stormed out and a lot of tents were lost, so it's really important that we show up and really support those vendors that lost out last week. Then there are some other community events going on. We have Mundelein High School's homecoming coming up already this weekend, and they have a parade Friday afternoon. If everyone wants to turn out and support the high school, followed by the game. One World Festival is on Saturday, September 20th. Oh, I mess this up every time. Buzz on Biz is September 20th from 10 to 4 on 60 at Schwacky Stone. A lot of our local businesses will be there exhibiting. So a lot of good things going on, and as always, remember to shop and support our local businesses. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Communication and Marketing Committee, Trustee Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It looks like there's a couple of motions to pass here tonight. Did you guys put these here under me on purpose? That was very sweet.
It's your baby.
That was very sweet. These are related to the, what did we end up calling it? The private free libraries. And for those of you who don't know, they're about the size of a double-wide birdhouse that'll sit in the front lawn. And you could put books in it for your neighborhood. And people can exchange books. And it's just something really nice in our community that our neighbors don't have. And we're being proactive and allowing it. So let's see here. So I just start with a motion to accept the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and findings of fact.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by
I think I motioned.
Kim.
And I'll second that motion.
Second by Sullivan. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Trustee Simple.
I'd like to, bring up some points here, and I'm not going against these little libraries or not going against any of my colleagues on the village board, but I've been reading these planning and zoning minutes in one way or another for about 29 years, 10 years on the Plan Commission, and 19 years as a village trustee. And every so often, if something doesn't seem right, you got to speak up. And after all these years, this is the first time I've ever seen where 3 village trustees actually attended a plan commission, which was a public hearing over an issue. So we've always been told 3 of us shouldn't attend meetings together, because that's a quorum of a committee of a village board. So we have to be very cautious, even if we're in a golf foursome, informally golfing, but this was an actual public hearing by a body appointed by the mayor and the board to give recommendations to us. The buck stops here. And in that, after reading the commission meetings, minutes, 2 trustees actually testified during the public hearing, and 1 trustee gave opinions contrary to staff's recommendation and swayed the Plan Commission unanimously to go against staff recommendations, which, Charlie, I believe a unanimous recommendation from the Plan Commission makes it very difficult for the village board to overrule the Plan Commission. And it's just one of these things where something doesn't sound right. It just doesn't appear proper for village trustees or the mayor to attend a public hearing. And I get it, the Economic Development Commission meetings, they're appointed by us, but they just make suggestions. A public hearing is a little different. It's a very formal process, and they're making recommendations to us. So, my thought is, the trustees who were there and participated, if you want to sit in, you want it to be a resident, you ought to go sit out there when we're voting on this right now, or we should recuse this and send it right back to the Plan Commission and let them rehear it without any trustees watching over them. When I was on the Plan Commission, and like Mr. Pippin said, I don't know if he left, I've had so much fun here, it truly seems like just a couple years ago, not 19 years ago. I've brought up that occasionally a trustee would come and sit in on the Plan Commission meeting, and as a Plan Commissioner, I really didn't like that, because it was like, are we not doing a good enough job that you're here to watch over us? And we've had this discussion before, and I understand going and watching is one thing, but testifying at a Plan Commission hearing and asking a question, like as one trustee did it, and that seems, I'm not really questioning that all that much, but actually giving your personal or the village's opinion on steering the Plan Commission just seems wrong. And I'd like to toss this to Charlie Marino, because when we become trustees, we're all kind of explained certain ground rules of what we really should and shouldn't do, and if it seems wrong, we shouldn't do it. Well, I didn't do it, and I'm reading the minutes, and it seems wrong to me, and silence means you concur with the majority. If I don't speak up, it means I didn't have a problem with anything. I do have a problem, and I truly want Mr. Marino to weigh in on it before any other trustees comment on my comments. I'm directing this to Mr. Marino. What is your thoughts from our legal counsel on how we can handle this? And it starts with the mayor and goes down, because we're all elected officials, and I know we all have the rights of freedom of speech, just like I'm using right now.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment, because I was going to make this comment prior to Mr. Semple. I attended the Plan Commission meeting as a resident. When I stood up at the podium, I said I was making comments as a resident. I made that very clear, and I was going to ask for a correction in the meeting notes that it not say that, Trustee Meyer. That was just done automatically. It had nothing to do with me being a trustee, and I stated that prior to speaking. It was very clear to the Plan Commission that I was speaking as a resident, because this is something that I have been very interested in for many years. And we are allowed to be residents in the village at the same time as a trustee, as long as we clearly change our hat on what our position is. Now, my trustee position is different than what my residential position is, and I have a right to express that, and I was very clear that I was a resident. And I would ask that the meeting notes be corrected, because I did say that I was speaking as a resident, and that it be corrected to show that my attendance was not as a trustee, my speaking was not as a trustee.
Okay.
I'd like...
Mr. Marino, can you want to?
Yeah, well, first of all... Oh, good, thank you. First of all, my job is to advise the mayor and the board and the staff on the legality of their actions or proposed actions. I'm not here to comment on whether those actions are appropriate or not. That's for the electorate to decide at election time. But my understanding of the law, and I've reviewed the law on this question, is that a trustee, as long as he or she is speaking in their individual capacity and not as a trustee or on behalf of the board, has every right to advocate a position on a public issue in which they're not financially involved. And my understanding is Trustee Meyer here is in no way financially involved in these libraries, and that she was just exercising her First Amendment rights to be an advocate, to speak out on a public issue. Now, that being said, you always have to be careful, because it's not always understood that way. You may attempt to make it very clear that you're speaking as an individual resident, but unfortunately it can be taken otherwise, despite what your intention is. Therefore, I think it is my advice that whenever you want to speak out on an issue, that it's best to put it in writing and put it on your individual letterhead. So it can't be construed as you speaking as the mayor or a trustee by whoever is receiving that message, because unfortunately, when we do things orally or verbally, they can be misconstrued. And in this particular case, as Trustee Meyer said, the minutes reflect her as Trustee Meyer when she attempted to make it clear that she was speaking as a resident. So I do not find anything illegal with respect to what she did. And as far as voting on the matter, I do not find that she's disqualified from voting because of her advocacy of a particular position. But that isn't to say that it's advisable to do that. And you all have to search your own conscience as to whether or not, although something may be perfectly legal to do, whether or not it's advisable. I can tell you this, the courts are not going to rule on the propriety of your actions. The courts are only going to rule on whether your actions are legal or not.
Charlie, you've been doing this probably twice as long as I have. Have you ever had something like this happen before in your memory?
Well, I've not had a situation where a trustee testified at a plan commission hearing in my memory. I know trustees occasionally appear at the plan commission hearings, but I've not had a situation where this has occurred before in the 41 years that I've been here.
Well, Charlie, with your 41 years, you know, I've been doing this, like I said, for 29 years now, and this one just jumped out at me. And like I said, you know, if silence means you agree with the majority, and if I remain silent, it means I don't have any problem with it. And sometimes, you know, you got to speak up. And If I offended anybody, I apologize, but it wasn't at what was said. To me, these little libraries, I'm glad it was a little library meeting than something like a big box retailer we're trying to woo into town, where a trustee came in and testified at a public hearing that maybe put the village in a precarious situation in court, as somebody's fighting what we're trying to do and use that against us somehow. So, I've said my piece on this, and, I'll go with what the majority wants to do here. Thank you.
If I may, I'll just ask a question or two and then throw something out on the table for you to consider. As I understand it, staff made recommendations to the Plan and Zoning Commission, and then those were different than what is arriving here before us. Is that?
Can I have
well,
that.
Is that correct, Mr. Barrera?
There were some modifications to the recommendations that we brought forward to the commission.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I have the differences. Maybe it would be enlightening. Would you like to know what the differences are?
We can hammer those out now and sort through this all, or we could table it for next time and give us a chance to review those like you have, so we can internalize it and then come back next time, having had the whole board a chance to study those and make heads or tails and come up with it. So that's what I wanted to throw on the table.
Just so that the board knows, there were 2 items that were removed in their entirety, and this is to the best of my understanding between these little minutes and what I have. There were 2 items that were removed entirely and 2 items that were significantly altered.
What?
And as one of the trustees who was here sitting silently in the back of the room, I frequently attend Plan Commission meetings. Trustee Semple, I know you don't like it, but whatever is usually at the Plan Commission is usually coming up through Community and Economic Development, and I listen in so I know what's coming and why it's coming the way that it is. Trustee Meyer did say that she was testifying as a resident, though as reflected in the minutes, I think it's hard sometimes for people when they see us to separate us as residents and trustees. And though I understand, Trustee Meyer, you worked really hard to make sure that you clarified with them that you were a resident, they allowed you to stand at that podium and go through each recommendation line by line.
They asked me to do that specifically. They asked me, I was giving generalities of that I felt that there should be no formal restrictions. Well, let me put it this way, that Little Free Libraries should be treated in Mundelein the same as they are in other villages without ordinances. And as Highland Park has said, it's an interactive lawn ornament.
Yes.
And so they specifically asked me they asked me a question, I responded to their questions.
Yes, but to my point, even though you were testifying as a resident, they were deferring to you and your opinion as a trustee.
And I reiterated after the meeting that I was speaking as a resident.
I understand that you made every attempt to acknowledge that you were there as a resident. Again, I was sitting in the back of the room, and I have sat through many of these, and we've had many residents testify, and I think that they were deferring to you as a trustee, even though you weren't testifying as a trustee. And so so they totally removed 2 of the staff recommendations, and, 3 of the staff recommendations, and 2 others were altered. So almost half of the staff recommendations were changed in some manner. So it may be appropriate that this be tabled at this point so that everyone can see both sets and see the differences and see if they think they're significant or not, and then we can make that determination.
And what everybody's kind of leaving out is that, in addition to me testifying also, the librarian was there and a variety of other people, that then after the public comment was closed, the commission had dialogue between themselves and discussed all of those and came to their own conclusions on what they decided.
Also true.
Well, here, I would like to, because I'd like to see staff recommendations, because personally, I would like to have some, like you're against any kind of boundaries. I think we need to have some boundaries. We need to have an application process. There should be some sort of over-governance, this could become, this really, I think it's a great idea. I love the idea. But then again, we could have someone put something out on their yard that looks like God knows what, that's 3 feet wide and 3 feet high and doesn't go over 6 feet, and it'll be okay.
There are some proposed ordinances.
That it's 3 feet high, 3 feet wide, and outdoor material. Well, there's a lot of things that can cover that.
Trustee Abernathy, that's where the difference is in wearing my residential hat versus wearing my trustee hat. As a resident, I don't feel that they should be regulated. As a trustee, I take a different viewpoint on some of the requirements that were put in there.
I understand that, but what you don't see is, since you said that as a resident, you don't want any regulations, guess what? They took a lot of regulations away.
And they added some also.
So, I don't know.
Yes,
I would like to see, we need to table this.
They added some, they took away some, but the ones they took away was then based on the discussions they had between committee members.
I don't know, because I wasn't there, so I don't know what was.
I feel like everything was reflected, though, within the minutes. And
as all minutes, there are things that are left out. I mean, they're a high level, but there are many nuances and many things that, discussions that are left out, as in all minutes.
I'd like to see the staff recommendations.
So at this point, we have a motion on the table. So point of order is, does it get removed and then we vote?
Let's just go around and see if we want to table it.
Mr. Mayor, as it relates to the meeting minutes, this motion just relates to accepting the meeting minutes. And so what I had circled and wanted to bring out on the meeting minutes that I want corrected is any references to my being a trustee. And I think staff put that in just out of habit of addressing me as Trustee Meyer, because I was there, it shows my home address, I was there as resident Robin Meyer.
We can't change their minutes.
But they put in there just automatically, my trusteeship.
Then we shouldn't approve their minutes.
That's what I'm saying, is I want the minutes changed to correctly reflect how I attended that meeting, that I was not a trustee.
Then we shouldn't approve the minutes.
You can edit the minutes.
We can't edit their minutes.
It's not, we're accepting their
We either accept those minutes. No, we're accepting the minutes.
We're accepting their minutes.
Right now.
And I think the minutes need to be corrected.
So we can.
And maybe an informal request to the Plan Commission stating Trustee Meyer's point that she was not appearing there as trustee, but as a resident. And hopefully they will revise their minutes to reflect that.
But then we would need to ask that the motions be removed.
Yes.
The motion and the second be removed.
Yes.
Okay. So who made the second and the first? Kim and Sullivan.
Yes.
Well, Trustee Sullivan, would you agree to remove your second?
Yes, I would.
And how about you, Trustee Kim?
So then out of curiosity, we have some minutes that we've made adjustments to in the past. We can't do it because this is Plan Commissions? Is that what it is? Okay, all right. Then I do take it back.
Okay. So since those have been removed, we're going to just table this, presumably.
Just remove it from the agenda.
We'll remove it from the agenda. Do we need to ask a motion?
Yes.
All right, so I would need a motion to remove the entire category from the, of the text amendments to the zoning ordinance to allow private free libraries, to remove that entire topic from the agenda this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kim, second by Semple. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Kim?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Motion carries. Great, we'll address this next time. That takes us to...
Oh, wait, I still have
excuse
more.
me. I'm sorry. Trustee Kim.
Okay. Okay, so they're not motions, but I just wanted to mention some of the, oh, what's in the, what is this doing? Why is it showing me on my laptop? Well, okay. I just wanted to kind of give an update on where marketing was in the village and what they're rolling out. But now I don't have it. I'm just staring at myself now. But Public Works, about 16 facilities had their signs replaced with the branding initiative. And we have some street signs that are going out that have our branding on it as well, so that's good. One thing I'd like to mention that we're kind of tying with the high school is you'll notice this week that there are some windows, storefront windows being painted. And so there's some school spirit that's being rolled out in the town. So that's kind of neat. And it probably hasn't been done in many years. But it's supposed to be washed off after homecoming. So just look for that around town. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Voss used to do that. Did you used to do that?
Uh-huh.
I did it
I
when I
used
went
to-
there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to paint our windows.
Yep.
at Abernathy's.
I just want to make one small little correction. We're looking at the signage for the facilities for Public Works. We haven't changed those out yet.
Okay.
So there's money in the budget to do that, and so we're kind of going through a design process right now.
It was actually all facilities, it wasn't just Public Works, so it would be police and fire as well.
Okay. Great. That's it? Okay, thank you, Trustee Kim. Next up, Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Trustee Abernathy.
As the summer is winding down, so is transportation and infrastructure. Anything to report, Mr. Boucher?
We just had the pre-construction meeting for the Route 60 water main project, so that will be starting, I think, towards the middle of next week, weather permitting.
Perfect. All righty. That's all I have for you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to other reports. Are there any other items any other trustee wishes to bring up at this time?
Mr. Mayor, real quick.
Yes.
I forgot to ask Mr. Boucher, I apologize for blindsiding you here, but what is the schedule for leaf pickup? Because seems like the leaves are starting to fall, and we'll probably start having residents complaining pretty soon. Their leaves haven't been picked up in a timely fashion. When does that kick off? Is that for you or for Mike?
Is it that time already? Really?
Almost. I won't be here next week, so I can bring up
Oh, my goodness. All right.
I think, it's in the newsletter, but I think it's October 17th that it starts, and
Yes.
it goes until the first week, through the first week of December. But check your newsletter for the exact dates.
Thank you.
We're all writing that down,
Just
aren't
wanted to
we?
get it out there. It's coming fast.
It's also on the website, so you
It
could
is.
just refer
Yes,
them
it
there.
is.
Great. Anyone else? Okay, that takes us to the omnibus vote items. We have numbers 1 through 4. Does any trustee wish to remove any of these items 1 through 4?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remove item 3.
Trustee Abernathy, removing item 3. Anyone else?
I'd like to request to remove number 4.
Trustee Kim wishes to remove item 4. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay, then I need a motion to pass items 1 and 2 on the omnibus list.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kim, second by Abernathy. Discussion? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Kim?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, Trustee Abernathy.
I would like to, is there anyone here that is asking for the Class D licenses, number of Class D licenses to be increased? Or is there anyone here about that?
You mean in the audience?
Yes.
Oh. Anyone here in the audience from Santa Maria? Okay, I guess
Well,
not.
I would like to maybe table that so we could have someone here, because I have some questions about that, in order to increase those.
We would need to have a vote to remove this.
Yes.
So, do you want to present a case, and then what we'll do is put it to a vote to remove it.
Just, yeah, so that we could have
Go
someone.
ahead and explain your concerns.
There's some concerns with having 9 events over 12, or, I'm sorry, over 6, when there has been some information that I would like to have about these additional events. And I tried to get some information. I just got a letter about the events, and I don't know what these are, and I'd like to be able to talk with someone from the organization about 9 alcoholic events during a year is a lot. Even when I did it, that was a lot. I didn't have that, we didn't have that many. That's a lot of events at
Mayor.
one organization.
Trustee Sullivan.
I thought the explanation was that the school was a separate entity, and that the school had sponsored a number of events, and because the school is now closed, it's just the parish that is able to sponsor the events. And so they don't want to have additional events or different events. They just have one sponsor instead of 2. And that's what's going on.
Well, see, here's my problem. If it was a school event, how are they still having the event? If the school was sponsoring the event and the school is no longer there, then how are they having the event? It's not a school event. So that's where my question is.
The parish is wanting to take over for the event that was the school.
Okay.
They still have a CCD program. You know this better than I do.
Well, I know that. CCD doesn't do any of that's why I have this question. There is no CCD program.
I don't think there's any point in dragging this out. I will vote for this regardless.
Okay.
And I won't sponsor any vote, or I won't approve any vote in the affirmative to delay it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Trustee Voss.
Other than Santa Maria, is there any other entity, single nonprofit organization that has 9 liquor events a year?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
No.
I don't think so. We looked at it, and I don't think there is.
And have they always had 9 liquor events?
They actually had more, 12.
No, they didn't have 12.
Well, they were allowed to have 12.
They were allowed to have 12.
It was at 6 and 6.
Yeah, we
I
looked at
have
it.
never applied for 12, and I worked there.
No, but they do now.
And so maybe for those of us who don't go to Santa Maria, someone who goes to Santa Maria might want to explain to me what these events really are.
There are any number of things, and I can't say that I've been to a lot myself, but there are Las Vegas nights.
No, they don't have that anymore.
They don't have that anymore. Whatever they are, they have a...
Okay, hence the reason, Terry, my question. And I am someone who does go to Santa Maria. So hence my question on that.
John, can you tell us from the police department, do they come and apply? Do you know what these events are? Are we talking about somebody having a beer while they play bingo? Or are they talking about a big event that has an impact on public service?
From my experience, some have been bingo nights. They did have some casino nights, but it sounds like they don't have those anymore. Some different dances, but it's been my experience that any of the events have had a very little, if any, impact on our services there.
Well,
And I'm sorry, one more question. So I know that we're doing this because of Santa Maria, but a single nonprofit organization, there would be other nonprofit organizations that could then request 9 events per year, correct? Do I have this wrong?
Correct. No, you have it correct.
So Carmel could?
Any church.
Any church,
Yeah.
any school, right? There's nothing,
Right.
any Reach Rescue, Dog Rescue, they're nonprofit. They could have a, I don't know, wine for wieners. I don't know, whatever. So this would be every nonprofit in Mundelein could have 9 events. That no other nonprofits have even 6 events, right?
No,
I mean,
don't think
Carmel
so.
has street scenes, that's it.
Carmel had 4 events when we did a tally. They were the closest to Santa Maria's.
Well, here's,
Whatever.
I would throw this out, and that is that, we take liquor very seriously here, obviously. And we have a question from someone that used to work there. One of our trustees has a question, and as I understand it, there are some new events coming up that you had questions about that were kind of, repeats from the past, and you had some concerns, and you didn't want to air those out without them present. So I would ask the board to honor the trustees' request. We could take it for in 2 weeks, ask that they be present so that we could get to the bottom of these new events and just air this out with them in the room. I think it would be good for us to defer to the trustees' request, and we can, make a good, well-informed decision on this. That would be my recommendation.
Do you need a motion to remove this item from tonight's agenda?
Okay.
I move to remove this from tonight's agenda.
Motion by Abernathy. Second by Voss. Discussion. Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
No.
Kim?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. We'll remove that item, and we'll just reach out to them, if we could, reach out to them and ask that they be present at the next board meeting, and we'll bring this up maybe under someone's report, and so we don't have to, certainly not under omnibus, okay? Okay, Trustee Kim, item 4.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to clarify and ask, on this bill pay, there was a $500 expenditure for Mundelein Community Purchase Award for the Fine Arts Festival, and I just wanted to ask about that.
Every year, the village, I guess not donates, but allocates $500 for the purchase of art. And historically, the mayor has picked out that art and is displayed here at the Village Hall. And it's just kind of a show of support for the art festival.
Okay, so when it says purchase award, is there a better category it could go under so it's not confused as the awards for the artists?
That's what they call it.
It's a award?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Okay, not like office
It's
supplies.
used to attract vendors if they know that there's X number of dollars already kind of pledged to buy, purchase items. So it's done early on, and it's used to entice vendors to the event.
Okay, all right, thank you. And if you'd like, I can make the motion.
Please do, yep.
Let's see, so motion to approve the payment of bills as indicated in the governing body report for the period between August 26, 2014 and ending September 8, 2014 in the amount of $805,746.70.
Motion by Kim.
Second.
Second by Voss. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kim?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, so that takes us to village staff reports. Village Administrator, Mr. Lebedo.
I have no report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Village Attorney, Mr. Marino.
I have no report, but I understand there will be a need for an executive session on imminent litigation and also land acquisition.
Okay. Village Clerk. Clerk Timmerman.
report.
Okay, no report. And-
Don't even.
All right. So now that takes us to the executive session motion. I need a motion to recess into executive session to discuss
Imminent litigation.
imminent litigation pursuant to 5 ILCS 120, Section 2C11, and land acquisition pursuant to 5 ILCS 120, Section 2C5.
And there will be action requested after executive session.
And there will be action requested afterwards, okay? Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by
Second.
Voss, second by Kim. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Voss?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Meyer? Yes. Semple?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Okay, so we will recess into the room adjacent. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight, and then we will convene afterwards with some action, apparently. Okay, let's need a motion to reconvene the village board meeting.
So moved?
Motion by Kim, second by Voss. Discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kim?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Present.
Semple?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay, we are now convened. Then can we please take attendance?
Now I'm
Abernathy?
present.
Kim?
Here.
Meyer? Here. Semple?
Here.
Sullivan?
Here.
Voss?
Here.
Okay, who has a copy of the motion to make? Okay, that'd be great, okay?
I'm looking for a motion to authorize the village administrator to make an offer to the property owner at 345 North Seymour for the purchase of a small piece of property, approximately 145 square feet, in the amount of $2,248.43.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Abernathy, second by Semple. Discussion? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Voss?
Yes.
Sullivan?
Yes.
Meyer?
No.
Kim?
Yes.
That's everybody, right?
Yes. Okay, motion carries. And I don't think, any other business? I think that's it. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Voss, second by Kim. Discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much.